In Ethiopia, we have this green leaf. It's called chat or kat. It's actually we're not quite sure if it's actually illegal or not, but in any case, you can take it out of the country. That would be illegal. So there's this city Harar, for instance, that is maybe like the entire town or that entire region is completely based on the economy of chat. And I live in Harlem, and you can buy it in Harlem. It comes all the way.
Okay. I know this one really old lady from my country, and she has only 2 marijuana plants. Somebody gave her a few seeds as a joke, and they grew and they were beautiful. And she has also her garden with vegetables, and she didn't want to cut them. And it's like super illegal. She could end up in prison for many, many years. But her pension is also really, really small, so she found a way and she's selling marijuana, but just from these 2 plants. And it's perfect. Like, now she can survive. So I think that's kind of a nice story. But the law is horrible, and if they caught her, she could have, really serious trouble. They're not flexible.
I'm from St. Lucia, and like a lot of places, people think the Caribbean, which is true, has a lot of drugs and particularly kind of marijuana. And if you're Rastafarian, it's even more so. I travel about 7 months out of the year, and every time I go into a new port, they see my passport. I have an American passport that says St. Lucia, and the assumption is that I am bringing in drugs. So I always have to, really deal with that. And it actually changes the way I travel and the way I pack and the way I try to look when I travel. So this illegal drugs really gives this perception.
I'm from Tanzania, and people smoke marijuana a lot there, but some people, it's kind of funny, but some people use it they put it in hair product, and for some reason they say it makes your hair grow, so some people mix it with hair products and they put it in their hair. So I don't know if anyone has ever done that before. I haven't, but that's what I've heard is done.
The Russian Federation has a horrendous drug use problem, especially when it comes to hard drugs such as heroin. Millions of people are affected by it. And shared needles, they remain the #1 cause of HIV transmission in Russia, which is a parallel crisis running parallel and yet intertwined with the drug use problem. And the government continuously failed to address or do anything about these 2 crises, which out of corruption and indifference mostly.
I'm from Malawi, and in my country, pretty much the war on illegal drugs is non-existent because there are issues that government deems more pressing, such as HIV and food security. So the use of illegal drugs is actually increasing, and yet no one is noticing anything.
I'm from Tanzania as well, and I'm sure everyone has heard of the paradise island called Zanzibar. The truth about Zanzibar is 1 in every 4 households has a heroin addict. We're trying to work towards having an inclusive drug program, but we have the first methadone clinic in sub-Saharan Africa. And I'm not so sure if that's the way we should go, considering that methadone is another addiction. So it's not really a solution, and that's where we are.
I am from Ecuador, and as part of the current debates on public policy and how to deal with the drug issue in Latin America, this is the first time that the legalization of drugs is put into the public sphere. Uruguay is giving an example on that road, and I foresee that in the coming few years, legalization is going to be one possibility for actually dealing with the black markets and the incredible power of mafias.
I'm going to invite you to hold your position. Can you just name what you're doing and why? What role do you have, just briefly?
I am representing the larger society and their indifference towards misery and drugs.